Hello Orchid friends, welcome back to my channel. Wherever you are, I hope you're having a great day, staying healthy and staying safe. Today we're going to take a look at my Phalaenopsis mini mark. This one is one of the 5 mini marks that I have in my collection. Let's first take a look at its bloom video from last year, because this year it has done better and I have done something to it since this bloom cycle. So last time it gave me 4 flowers, and at the time I was already very pleased with it because I've had these mini marks since they were near blooming size, near mature plants. When I got them, they were so tiny, and then gradually they started to bloom more and more. I started with 1 flower, 2 flowers, 3, and now it's 4 flowers. So every year they mature a little bit more to be able to produce more bloom. This orchid was repotted a year or 2 ago, and as you can see here, the roots are growing really well, and inside the container there was even a root coming out of one of the ventilation holes and already attached itself to the inside of the outer cup. So I tried not to disturb it because that root still looked like it was actively growing. And then this orchid also had some really long, aerial roots. I love aerial roots, but this is a small orchid, very miniature sized orchid, so having this much aerial roots really means that I had to be really careful moving it around. So after this orchid's bloom cycle last year, I decided to give it a repot, and I might have shared the repot video with you already. If not, do a quick search within my channel, you should be able to see it. But if you have, then perfect, you know what I had done with this to this orchid. Anyway, so mini mark, the reason I love it, the reason we all love mini mark is just because it's a classic cross, I guess. It's not a primary hybrid, but I think most people love it for its dots, for its tiny dots in the flower, and then also the orange lip. And I can tell you, when I first drawn to this orchid was primarily because of the orange lip, as well as the dots, or the freckles I call it sometimes, on the flowers. We all know that in orchids there is really no true blue color, but I can also tell you, for Phalaenopsis orchid especially, orange is a rare color as well. Yes, in Cattleya, in Vanda, you can often see orange color. Like for Cattleya, there is Aurantiaca, that's orange, that's really pretty. But for Phalaenopsis, I've only really seen another complex hybrid on eBay, and was being sold, and it was really orange and really pretty. I didn't bid on it, and it was until it was sold that I regretted not having to, not getting the orchid. But anyway, so the moral of the story is, if you ever come across a Phalaenopsis orchid with really beautiful orange color that you like, definitely don't let it go. And of course, mini mark is so tiny, so cute, so dainty, that it's just an amazing orchid to have. It's not fuzzy. I've never really had any issue with it. It does have some fragrance. It's almost sour and sweet at the same time, and many a times the fragrance, the smell reminds me of plum juice or plum wine. That's what they smell like to me. And here, this is the bloom clip, the bloom video clip from this blooming cycle. 6 flowers, not too bad at all, right? Last year 4 blooms, this year 6. So it's doing a lot better, much better than I had anticipated. In terms of care, this orchid is in organic media with a mixture of manto clay and hydrocorn. The ratio is close to 1:1, maybe with the smaller pebble manto clay a little bit more, but I wouldn't say 1:2, probably still 1:1, maybe 1.5, because the roots are still, relatively skinny. It's not too thick. The roots are not too thick. When roots are thick, I tend to use more bigger pebbles. So since the repot, this orchid had grown even better. But again, it was still trying to produce aerial roots simply because I think this orchid was still trying to grow, and that's okay. And since the repot, many more roots have grown inside the medium and the cup, and it just looks amazing. I tried to use different cup to elevate it, to prop it up. Yes, I also use the blue cup, and that is to block out sunlight, but primarily I wanted to elevate this orchid, so this orchid is on the same level as many other regular size or mid-size Phalaenopsis orchid, because when they're so small, if you don't elevate them, if you don't prop them up, they're going to be lower, which means that they may not get as much light exposure or sunlight exposure. So I wanted to make sure this orchid also has equal chance of getting the light source, the light that it requires. But overall, I really think this orchid is a rewarding orchid. I know it's not always very common or easy to get mini marks, but it's possible. I've seen them on eBay. I've seen them being sold at multiple nurseries in the US, like orchids.com, maybe Louisiana Orchid Connections. I remember seeing them selling this cross as well. And you can even check Orchids by Hauserman. Overall, I think it is rare, but it's not impossible. I think it's more readily available than, say, Phalaenopsis Sweet Memory Leodoro. That one is common in Europe, but in America, you can even see people paying $75, $100 for one plant, which to me is crazy, but it's a supply and demand issue, right? When something is scarce, the price tag tend to be bigger. This orchid gets about 1/4 cup of water, but in wintertime, I reduce the amount down to 1/8 of a cup. Fertilizer, again, 1/4 strength, so 25% of the recommended dosage only, and this orchid seems to do just fine with that. Overall, I really like Mini Mark dearly, and I hope you get one too if you don't already have one. This is all I have for you today. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you would like to get more orchid related videos from my channel, please subscribe and turn on the notification. I want to wish you happy growing, and I will talk to you in my next video. Ciao!